What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Sunday Night Live with my co-host, Evil Mike.
Howdy.
Howdy, as he's
Howdy.
rises from the
Off my
smoke.
butt up. Oh, I love it.
Thanks, everybody, for coming in. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We'll check out the chat real quick. Tina, what's going on, babe? Thanks for coming in.
Hey, Tina.
First to comment. Las Cruces, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, James?
I was saying, I don't know if you heard on Wednesday that he was on a chat with me, and I said, "Hi, Las Cruces," and I had to leave. And I got into Facebook, and like the very first thing that pops up was like, "Come to Las Cruces." There's like a freaking ad for Las Cruces, New Mexico. And then it was
Tell
like
them they listen.
the freaking article was about how Zennials, like Las Cruces, New Mexico, Zennials, I guess that's the after millennials, maybe. All of them are like thriving in Las Cruces, New Mexico. It's one of the 5 top cities for Zennials.
I'll keep that in mind. New retirement location, man.
Maybe if it's affordable and everything, because they always talk about, the cost of living going up and everything for young kids.
Yeah.
Steve, happy birthday,
What's up,
Steve White. Today is
Happy
his birthday.
birthday.
Thanks for coming in,
Happy
Steve. Got you on the
birthday.
shout outs. It's quite a few
Happy
people's
birthday.
birthdays this weekend.
Mm.
Hooray, wahoo. Hello from New Mexico. Wellbore.
Hey, well, boy.
You cut her off at the pass before she told you to. Whoosh, Tina with the whip.
Right, it's a
Wellbore's
fluid
like,
motion.
yes,
Doot,
massa.
doot,
Yes, massa. What's up, Monch?
doot. What's up, 23?
Thanks for
Take
coming
my
in,
weapons.
Monch. Great live last night. He's always giving away his awesome artwork. Just, man, he's progressed so much. I need to get a video together. I got a couple more things that he made for me.
To show off. That's cool.
Yeah, he wanted us to make a video, kind of seeing where all his art is. I got at least 5 pieces. I know I'll give it away a couple that I want. Awesome stuff, Monch.
Yeah.
For coming in.
Extremely talented.
Linus is pretty. I watched the first season. Is there a second season out?
I don't even know what that is.
It stars what's her name? That was Gamora. What's her name?
Zoe Zedella.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Zaldana.
Yeah, I do follow her, and maybe I have seen this, and I just didn't know it was called Lioness. Because I don't follow too many famous people, but I do follow her.
What's going on, Tony?
What's up, Tony?
Roll for initiative. Exactly. Man.
Got it right here, baby.
Oh, hell yeah.
Got it right here, baby.
20-sided die, baby.
A D20.
Catfan, what's up, bestie?
What's up, Kevin?
Thanks for coming in. Check Catfan's weekly comic and collectible every weekday at 8 o'clock Central Time. Commieverse does his live on Saturday nights, 6 o'clock Central Time. Check him out. I need to pop on there. I'm going to make an effort to pop on yours and DVH's this next weekend, Tony.
It always depends on my nap scheduling, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Saturday's just my day, my only day I truly have off to do all my chores. And
same thing. I try and knock out my errands like as soon as I can, but sometimes it just places don't open until later. Dude, I love this name. Obsessed with Horror. How's it going?
What's going on? I met him earlier today. Thanks for popping in. I think you were on maybe Melon and Manga, maybe.
Oh, during the Perfect Blue.
Yeah, I watched so many
I popped in for a second, but I've never watched Perfect Blue, so I was like, and it could be something I potentially watch, because there are times I'll go through like random anime, and like I know of Perfect Blue, but I was like, nah, I'm not gonna. So I just kind of hit the like button and dip down. I was like, sorry, Sheena. No.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a fast ass countdown. Birdman.
What's up, Kenny?
And Chop and Drop.
Kenny
What's
B.
up, brother?
What's up, Daniel? What's up, Chop?
And Budget. What's up, Brian?
What's up, Budget Ribs?
Let's see. Lady Prime. What's going on, LP?
Hey, Opie.
Check out Lady Prime over there on Fanboy Prime's channel. Sunday or the God damn, I always do that. Saturday stretch.
It's because we're
Always
on
fun.
Sunday, but we're talking
Yeah,
about Saturday. We're getting old. It's hard to talk
but
about the past.
they both dressed up. She dressed up as Macho Man, and Fanboy dressed up as George Michael,
I
and Robin
love
dressed
their
up as Wednesday Adam. Yeah, they were
yeah.
both really good
All
costumes.
three of them, like all three, her costume for. I will say the mullet kind of threw it off a little bit, but you got to work with what you got, So I
Right.
understand that. She still had the pigtails, but like, which I mean, it was an instant. Like the second you saw her, you knew she was Wednesday. But
Mhm.
like honestly, I mean, I'm with you. The praise goes to Lady and Fanboy because their costumes were like not only spot on, but like just really, really good. Like her Macho Man, dang! I was just like, bro, if she would have entered a room and you didn't know, not only was it Lady Prime and you didn't know it was a female, she could pull off
Oh
like
no, yeah,
she
for sure.
and like she could sit there and do the dude like that. It was she had dude face on for sure. It was cool.
Oh yeah.
Snap into a Slim Jim, brother. Yeah.
Oh no, not a naughty word. Hey, there's Marlon and manga.
Hey Shayna,
Hey,
sorry
how's it
Shayna.
going? Great live earlier. Watched some of it, but that was all new to me. So it was fun watching some of it though.
I did watch some. I did like especially in I want to say I made it 10 minutes and they started talking about it. And I was like,
Beckerman, what's going on,
hey
Beckerman?
Mark.
Always on Comic Vikings channel, the Hucklebuck every Tuesday, and Church with Bleecker on Bleecker Street Comics every Sunday.
And they have like a massive giveaway going on. If you go like watch their videos and just leave a comment on the September and October giveaways, you can get. I mean, you're talking about Alan picks up some crazy stuff, and so does Mike. You don't want to
Wasn't
miss
going
that
to say
one.
anything about that.
I know. But I mean, there's only 16. We got to let the people know.
I know. What's up, 9 panel grid?
Hey, 9 panel.
Hope you're doing well tonight. Go check him out. He's
I
I believe
watched.
he's
I've
part
been
of the
watching.
PCP Army, part of
He
Fable's crew.
is. He is, and you talk about like I can't remember what day. Maybe he can inform me, but I did make it to one of his lives finally because I'm really bad about moving around. But I did make it when you talk about some informative and fun stuff, and specifically talking about comics. It was so nice.
TJ, what's going on, TJ? Glad to see you.
Hey, TJ.
Yeah, Nat 20. Steve, hip hop's in me.
Hey, Steve.
What's going on, Steve?
Steve was there.
Fun to see you on the Melanin and Manga chat.
Yeah.
First time I've ever seen JP.
I know. I knew everybody. I want to say I haven't seen JP in a while. It's kind of like Steve. I hadn't seen like up until recently. I hadn't seen Steve in a while, so it's good to see old friends. I love Steve.
Hell yeah!
Steve and his brother. I love both of them.
Yeah,
Which we
everybody
don't
was
see is
showing off their toys in that Instagram chat. That was pretty cool. Did you see that?
yes. A lot of that's what Steve and his side of the YouTube channel does. They really show off toys and more so talk about anime and stuff like that. And you're talking about most of them are on the California side, right? I mean, so they're kind of in the know when it first drops, kind of thing. It's good to see.
Wellbore. Did I say? Did we say hi to Wellbore? I forgot.
We did,
What's
but
going
it's
on,
okay to say
Wellbore?
hi twice. Hey, well,
James, DJ, what's
I
going
thought
on?
I thought she was Teen Wolf too. What's up, James? I could have
I
gone either
mean,
way, Macho Man or Teen Wolf or Macho Man turning into Man Wolf. Either
my
or.
first thought was Biggie Shack, honestly.
I could have gone that way too
I
because
was
she
like,
kind of.
what? Oh,
I mean, honestly, like a lot of people came in and they didn't realize he was George Michael, and some of their guesses were he could have said that's who he was, and and the same thing for her. Like if somebody came in saying, "Oh, she was cosplaying Biggie Shack," like I would have been like, "Yep, I see it."
there's Fanboy Prime's channel. Bobby De La
What's up, Bobby?
Ghetto. Hey, 7-0, baby, 7-0. They haven't lost in 13 games. Hot damn. Going back to last
Yeah.
season.
I have heard some news about Mr. Patrick Mahomes. So I heard he needs to pick up his game. I heard he's
Oh,
getting dropped out of fantasy leagues, and he's been
oh,
kind of coming.
that's stupid. That's just stupid right there to get dropped. But
I
no,
have seen
he's
quite a
playing
bit.
bad for them. But he's playing bad. But when it comes down to winning the game, he just always makes those plays that win the game. There at the end of the game. So
Hey,
it's
if
like,
he's pulling through, I don't see no problem. I mean, if you're still good enough to like come out with mediocre stats, then you're still over the top of everybody else. That kind of says something.
Canadian survivalist. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, Canadian?
Got you pinned for a shout out on Wednesday's stream. Need to check out more of your content. I didn't know you were putting out. For some reason, I thought you were just like a survival channel. Maybe you were, but now I'm just seeing comics on there. Or maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. But you need to check
I
out.
want to
some
say
of your
when I
content.
first started watching Canadian, he was doing comics, but it was like it was kind of like a slow, like when he was putting them out, kind of thing. I haven't frequented his channel recently, so he might have picked up the progress.
I was going to be mad and blasted for how long to realize I'm not talented, nor do I have a body or look.
Be hard to pull off, Dan. Be hard to pull off.
Yeah. What's up, Tate?
What's up, Tate Brown?
Thanks for coming in, Tate. And Detroit Phil.
What's up, Phil? Where's Phil?
Stats.
Mediocre Stats used to be my stage name. I don't know if I'd follow you if that was your stage name. Mediocre Stats.
All right. A few people to shout out real quick. Broke Boy Comics, just started following him pretty recently. Looks like he's been doing content for about 3 months now. He's got a lot of energy. I like his energy. Does some great community videos of cons and different meetups, different books he's bought. But he's like a collector on a budget. That's why he calls him Broke Boy Comics.
Broke Boy Comics. I think I recently. I can't remember. Was he on Cliff? He was. Yeah, he was on.
Yeah, he was on Cliff yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's where I saw him. I was recently. I think that's where I, was introduced to him.
Yep. So check him out. Next we have.
I enjoyed it. It was pretty funny.
The birthday boy. He's like 50 today.
Mr. Steve White.
Mr. Steve White. Yep. Steve has an awesome Mad Magazine collection, G.I. Joe collection, almost the entire every book of every issue, every variant. But he was just on Only Slabs.
Yeah.
Yesterday. So check him out over there. Some awesome stuff.
That's a great episode. And because I was assuming it was going to be all Mad, and then he went to G.I. Joe, and then he was breaking out like Battlestar Galactica. I was like, this is nice.
Yeah. It was a nostalgia episode for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like he just went to a Bowmanville Comic Con. Man, they got so many of these little cons, and he pretty much goes to one every weekend, it seems like.
Yeah, that or a car show. Or
Yeah, right. Check out Steve White, Comics of the Voice. And lastly, we have my co-host, Evil's Comics. Does comic book reviews, or did. He's still doing them every now and then. But main thing, it's going to be pretty much every Saturday you're going to be doing something now, huh?
Yeah.
Because he's doing the Dark Tower, the comic book reviews still. There's still, like 10 different series of that?
That depends, because the comic book series, we might be coming to the end of that, because as far as like the new content, it kind of ends like right after the Battle of Jericho, and then I still have to that I'm doing on Monday. I have to go read that first Gunslinger, where it goes back to the Gunslinger book. If that doesn't have any new content, we're skipping all that, like going straight to like an offshoot book or something. And I think the first book, and somebody in the chat will be excited, is Talisman.
Collector P, what's going on, TCP?
Hey, Collector P.
E-Mike. You're the E-Mike.
I'll take it.
I like it.
It's better.
I like
it's better than Elvis. I like it, Elvis a lot. Hey, Elvis Comics.
So this Saturday they're going to be doing. I guess you have it already scheduled here. The Dark Tower
this Saturday we're doing
Battle of Jericho Hill.
Mm-hmm. And then right after that, it might be Little Sisters of Allura. That might be the last comic series that we touch base on. And then after that, it'll be books. And then what I'm starting up is we're doing on the every other Saturday, we're doing the D&D Dragonlance series, and how I'm gonna do this is we're doing the first 3 books in this, and then we're gonna jump to like either Ravenloft, or Dark Sun, or um, Forgotten Realms, and we'll do the first 3 books in those. But you talk about when I made these posts online about doing these books, the engagement, like my Instagram post is like 500 people like have seen it. You know, my Facebook thing hit 1,500 views, and I had like a crap ton of people that I've never talked to before. They were like, "I want to do this. I love this book." So
Hell
it's
yeah.
kind of nice to do this and get the excitement behind it. That's what I'm looking for. I want the engagement, and for me, this is brand new, and I'm loving it. You know?
Dude, I mean, it's epic. What's up, Andrews? Giving Gang home.
Hey, Anders.
Thanks for coming in. But I'm hoping, I don't know, we'll see. But we got the first trilogy, Chronicles, which is basically follows the adventuring party on their journey. We have the second trilogy, which is Legends, which follows the brothers Majir, Raceland, and Caramon on their little journey. Then we have Dragons of Summer Flame, which was an independent, just a one issue to kind of tie up the Warriors of Kryn.
Yeah.
And
on top of that, it was kind of interesting that it was like autumn, spring, winter, and then no summer.
And then we have the last one, which is the last Chronicles, the 3. To kind of tie up the party, basically. And then there's also the Raceland Chronicles. I didn't bring those out here, but so there's at least 10 or more that I would love to do myself.
It's definitely content, and it's gonna be fun because like I know, like, you know, Kamiverse is in the chat and he's excited to tackle the Forgotten Realms. Like Beckerman was in the chat and he's excited.
I'm excited for that too.
Yeah, and
I've only read like 1 or 2 books outside of Dragonlance.
All of this is brand new for me. You know, it's funny because I have background within D&D, but it's more on the playing side of it. So I mean, the reading, the novels and stuff is brand new. But I mean, like 150 pages in, I'm not disappointed at all. You know, it's been a great read. That's where I'm at, was playing those OG modules, because I especially from these specific writers, I actually played quite a bit of their modules, and I had not known it until I started this book reading.
What's up, Joffrey?
What's up, Joffrey?
Stuff was familiar. You're like, wait a minute, I've heard of that before. Big movie fan. Hello, how are you doing?
Hey, big movie fan.
Fanboy Prime. What's going on? Just talking about you.
What's up, fanboy?
Hope you're doing well.
It's nice because
speaking of the Prime family, you go to their Instagram or their Facebook, they had like literally 4 different costumes this year. Like they all dressed, and all of them were on point too. It's like, man, they really go all out for Halloween.
Lady Prime did her Lady Gremlin from Gremlins 2. Of course, Ollie's got his Kong. That's kind of like a guarantee, which I love seeing that. But then, you know, it's just interesting. And then you know, I could show this. Yeah, I could show this right now because I got a mail call from the Prime family, and they sent me like, you know, a Halloween picture family, and look, they're in a different costume there than Skull and stuff. And you know, the costumes are on point. I really appreciate this, getting this in the mail. It's personalized family, you know. I thought it was cool. So I'm finding out about that. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Really, as far as news, only thing that's kind of going around right now is the first look at Spider-Man Noir, Nick Cage. I mean, my whole deal with Spider-Man was he was just so boring. He kind of like, they've never really done much different with him and stuff. So that's why I kind of hate the character. This looks interesting. I'm digging the whole 1920s. Is it 20s? I think it's 20s.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's 20s because it's multiverse stuff. And it's like, you know, this is the Spider-Man of that noir. I read the series. I enjoyed the series. I've enjoyed like that they're kind of like including him in there because he is kind of like, I mean, you're talking about like a Spider-Man really with no powers. He's got, you know, and I do like that. Yeah, and I do like that they got Nicolas Cage for this role because he did the voice and Into the Spider-Verse and stuff like that. So it's cool to see him do a TV show, which is kind of phenomenal. I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah, and it's on Prime, right? I think it said Prime, so I was like, that's cool. It's not on, on Disney, or I guess because Disney doesn't own it. It's Sony, right?
Yeah, it's the Sonyverse. I will say that I will say that the pictures that they're showing, the costume looks spot on. If you go look at the comic, or if you go look at the end of the Spider-Verse, that is his costume. So it's, especially with the eyes and the hat and stuff, and they've done a good job. I'm curious to see if they're going to get the eyes to move, because his eyes move like Deadpool and stuff, like Spider-Man. I wouldn't say I'm super excited for that, but I'll definitely watch it when it drops. Kind of.
Next, we have just a few posts. We got for Superman Sunday, Nerdy Girl posted. She ended up selling these, but at one time she had Action Comics 1, Superman 1, just insane books. Just thought I'd show that off. Don't see that.
Superman Grail books.
Yeah. That was pretty dope. This looks really crazy. I don't know, I can make that bigger. No. Medieval MMA. You have full suits of armor, and they're just hacking at each other in the cage, kneeing each other on the ground to the head. This is I've never seen this before.
This has actually been around. This has actually been around for a while, and it's not. It'd be cool to see if this actually gets picked up by like a big thing, because it's been more like a backyard wrestling kind of thing. But they do get in full mail and stuff like that.
They're all bloody lipped and shit.
Yeah, I could say I'm generally not into this kind of stuff. It's not that I'm against violence, but like I'm not into sports and stuff. So, but I mean, to each his own, and this does have a huge kind of fan following. So, I mean, look at the post. It's like 320K or something like that likes on that one post.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think you can go look this up on like YouTube, and they've been doing this for like, I want to say, if I had to guess, like the last 10 years or something. I think it came up when they started doing like LARPing, and it was around the same time where like people were.
I know there's like full contact LARPing, but that's like at least you have padded swords and shit, and it's not like that's
well, like I want to say.
Contact.
I want to say it was probably like around the same time they started LARPing, and it was probably like the people that were like, "Nah, I want this legit," Let's get some armor and really go to town on each other. You say you could sword fight? Let's see.
Sector 2815, he always does these big time giveaways after they get done with reviewing an entire arc or an entire event, and they're finishing up with Absolute, and he's doing a huge giveaway tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central Time, I believe. 8:30, so 7:30 Central Time. So I wanted to highlight that. This was pretty cool, showing Count Dooku. Boy was a hooper.
Christopher Lee, yeah.
Christopher Lee, yeah.
He's talented.
That was great. This is pretty good.
We talk about a Halloween decoration.
Right? I know you love that. Locke, Mad Monkey Love, actually finished my Dr. Afra sketch, so I should be getting that pretty soon. That's the card that he made for me.
Yeah, it looks epic.
Pretty awesome. Love how he did the background. And I guess that's pretty much. This is sick. New Sup is Killing the Children. It drops tomorrow. Scotty Young.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. I love when he draws his other style. That's pretty dope. I love this. Is pretty funny. When you killed 5 zombies, 2 vampires with a stake, and 3 witches, wondering why they're all carrying candy. All right. That's all the Instagram I wanted to share. Thought I'd share some Instagram every week. Tiff, what's going on, Tiff Lava Shark?
Hey, Tiffany.
How are you?
Just slinging her lava earlier.
Right? She's always sleeping up. Man, keep that lava out of here, Tiff.
She's feisty.
Yeah. All right. I guess we can just do the hashtag first before we get into the what we read and saw. Hashtag comics. I'm going to put that hashtag in there for a chance to get a duck for my monthly giveaway. Yeah, right. Louis needs to win. Brian said there's a bunch of surprises, so hopefully those are good surprises and not.
I was gonna ask, speaking of news, this is the first year that we got a prediction video. Did anybody in the chat go watch the prediction video that was dropped by Synthetic?
Synthetic
I think
panel?
this, yes, and it was rather interesting. I want to say, like, I wish he would have gone more into detail where he came up with his predictions, versus like, hey, I just guessed, because he does give you kind of like, oh, well, I came up to these conclusions because this guy has that many viewers that watched, I mean, that's pretty easy to solidate. But then it goes into the categories where you have like people that have the same amount of viewers. I wish you like. I will say I would agree with some of the predictions that he forecasted, just because based on those viewership in those categories are kind of like a given. But I want to say there were some that I was like, nah, I don't see that person. I thought it was interesting.
That'd be interesting if he knows by going in those chats, if he's familiar with a lot of those people's chats, because then you can kind of see if they're promoting.
He did
lot,
go and look at he did say he went in there, like, the 5 channels for each category. He went to like, and looked at their viewership within their live streams or their regular, posted videos that they do on a weekly basis or something like that. And that's how he came up with the, statistics, for, I want to say most of the categories. Cause I think he said he was like, he believed he was like 85% accurate. And I kind of give it to him, because most of those categories, based on viewership and stuff like that, I kind of,
yeah,
but
I
it
can
was,
kind of guess where some of those go. It's just those
but
below 1,000 that are more difficult for sure.
But I will like to appreciate that instead of like bashing the awards, especially from a new channel, and a lot of new channels choose to do this for some reason. They see the awards and they don't quite understand it, and they go after it in this attacking fashion. It's kind of nice to see, a prediction video, which is kind of interesting. I'm surprised no one's done this the previous 4 years. If they haven't, I'm unaware. But as far as I know, this is the first time they've done it, so it was quite nice and interesting. I watched the whole thing and kind of ate it up. I thought it was really interesting.
What's up, Chance?
What's up,
How
Chance?
you doing? I know you're happy about your Redskins or Commanders. I don't know. I always call them
Commanders.
Thanks for coming in, Chance. Appreciate you. All right, we got 11 entries. Go ahead and pull this. Say a duck and a chicken down by the farm, kicking up the hay. TJ.
Congrats, TJ.
Congrats on the duck, TJ. I believe Wednesday will be the last stream. Probably gonna pull it for Wednesday and do the duck race on Wednesday both.
Heck yeah.
During the Halloween stream, everybody's welcome on. I'm going to be painting my face, getting into a little bit of costume. Hopefully we can have enough people that have horror books or scary books to do a little cover challenge, maybe cover battle, but just show off different horror. It doesn't have to be comics, could be books, could be statues, memorabilia. Come on, it's kind of like a Halloween stream.
Yeah, to show you love for the horror stuff.
I don't have too much stuff, so hopefully people bring some stuff.
Like Chop's comment here, and that's how we vote here on Trevor and Mike. We both vote that way. We vote on our favorites based on who we watch. There's none of this like somebody's bribing us, which I think is hilarious if that's even there. But like, we do vote on our favorites, and sometimes it is hard because some of these categories have multiple of our favorites.
Good luck in the water.
Heck yeah, man, Kino.
Not the Kino. All right.
The Kino.
things that we watched this week. First thing I watched was Brothers with Peter Dinklage and Josh Brolin. Have you seen this?
No, but I have seen previously, and I do like both of them. How was this?
It was a typical dark comedy. That's what I would say. I would say it's a dark comedy. I mean, you got one brother that's their mother abandoned them, and they get into a life of crime, and they both serve their time. And one of the brothers, Peter Dinklage, is just a rotten guy, pretty much, and he's trying to pull his other brother back into doing shady things. And yeah, it's kind of like that whole. And you got Brendan Fraser, who's a dirty cop, who's hunting down Peter Dinklage, basically hiring him to do some shady shit. And got a great cast: Marissa Tomei, Glenn Close. I thought it was decent. It wasn't my favorite, but I don't know. Seeing Josh Brolin in that role he's really meager, and it's interesting to say the least.
I like Dinklage
Pops.
and
What's going on,
and
Pops?
Pops. I like
Zach?
Dinklage and Fraser. What's up, Zach?
Sorry, keep on cutting you off.
You good?
All right. Next, I know you watched this too. Uzumaki.
Yes.
New anime, horror anime that just came out. Why it's only 4 episodes long. I thought there was going to be some kind of saving grace. That it was just going to.
No, you never read the manga, have you?
No, it was
it's
scary.
Yeah, I love this. Yeah, I mean, I love the manga. I love this. I love when people are like, the first episode's got the best art, but the other episodes are like, no, it's not about the art, man. It's about the story. Like, and the story is so quick. It's like sick and twisted and tormented, and like, I mean, just going through it's like individual characters each episode. But you're like in a 20-minute episode. Not only are you able to like feel what these people are going through, like it is excellent writing. It's just so good.
What's
like
your
each
synopsis?
episode.
Do a synopsis of it for them.
It's a tale about a town being inflicted by a curse of spirals. And technically, you think about it, there's spirals. You're talking about the shape of spirals, and the shape of spirals is in almost everything you look at. So, with the fear of spirals, like everywhere you look becomes like horror. And this town isn't just they're just not inflected with seeing spot. No, you're talking about these people are becoming spiral. Like, oh, it's so weird. Like that dude turning into the smoke, like him being like him not only become like the way he twisted his body to become like I forget what it was, the pod or whatever, and then like when they cremated him and his soul was like the smoke that was coming off of his body after they cremated it was like literally turning into a spiral, and everybody was like, yeah! Like, no, it's so good.
Yeah,
it's very
I mean,
it's
almost
very
the same
weird.
to me. Yeah,
I'm a big fan of that type of horror because Japanese culture, like for the longest time, I haven't had the same hangups that America culture has as far as what we can show and what we can do within horror. So their horror goes on. Like you're talking about body horror, we can't even compete with their body. Like people freak out on Terrifier. Are you kidding me? Like you're talking about that would be the baby's version, like the infant's version of their body horror. Like, Human Centipede was like it's supposed to be one of the most like body horrific. No, like it I would say that's like a medium level compared to like some of the Japanese horror that's out there. But I like. The problem with Japanese horror is it's really like it's kind of like art. It's subjective, but then on top of that, you're talking about like some stuff speaks to you and some stuff doesn't. I mean, their ghost stories are compared to our version of Ghost are extremely different. That kind of stuff. Yeah, dude. That I love that part. That and the snail, I think, are the two best parts.
The snails are freaking creepy.
Man, you talk about creeping. That dude, like how they set it up and stuff, and like. At first you start to feel sad for that kid, and then it was like, and then him changing, and then they were mating. Oh my god, like,
it kind of ended peaceful. I mean, with the main character, she's like, "I want to stay here and just be one with you." They
Yeah,
spiral together.
yeah. I mean, okay, watching that series, you kind of knew it was going in that fashion. Like I already knew the ending, so I mean, but it's kind of one of it's not like left open ended, which I like. It's there is a conclusion. You know, it's not a happy conclusion, or I mean, I guess it depends on how you look at it because they were together, you know, at the end. And I would say, yeah, Catman. A lot of people. I mean, a lot of people. The Human Centipede is not an easy movie. Like,
And the only other thing I watched the entire Hobbit trilogy, the extended version. Love it. Love it so much. They did. I noticed this time around that a couple of the scenes, the CGI, they kind of made it less unrealistic, I guess, than the rest of the series. They kind of, especially in the third film, they
mhm,
used a lot of CGI.
they
But
did. I can't remember
it
his
was still
name, but
really good.
with the orc, and they went CGI with him.
Azog,
Yeah, Zog, and then like all the Warg Riders, they were all like CGI. Like, and I want to say it was the first movie that they really did that because you think about it going back. I mean, nah, because they had like their cave trolls were. I don't know. Yeah, but I will say this is like in these three movies, you kind of they went a lot more CGI heavy than the previous.
well, they had like in Lord of the Rings, it was more practical them doing combat moves, and this
Mhm.
one was like Legolas would slide down shit and do a
Yeah,
bat,
yeah, yeah.
and you could tell it was like, okay, they're making it more less realistic, more fantasy, I guess you could say. And I don't know why I always love the number two in a trilogy. It seems like I guess it's because the bad guy it leaves you on a cliffhanger. It leaves the bad guy almost winning,
I
but
didn't like
almost
I,
always in a
I have to
trilogy
go back and watch this, but I don't even remember where the second one leaves off.
with Smog coming out and he's like, "I am death, I am
Mm,
fire," like screaming in the air, and he's going toward Lake Town.
mm,
Which I don't know why
first.
they named number two the Desolation of Smog when he doesn't desolate anything in that fucking movie. It's kind of weird.
Right. Since Trev was talking about this, I was gonna show people like because this was made into three full length feature movies, and the extended they're pretty close to like 3 hours apiece. All right, so this is Lords of the Rings, and this is all three books that are put into one book. This is all three. Okay, so to give you comparison, and we got three movies, right? And I mean, it kind of feels right, but then we got The Hobbit. The Hobbit is like
Yeah,
like how did you get three movies out of this? And it's amazing because there's a lot that they left out. It was like I remember reading it right before The Hobbit came out, and it was like major scenes that they either left out or changed, or and I was especially the links of the films. I thought they were gonna have everything in there, and I was really
right.
surprised. I still really enjoyed them. I thought they were great, but don't get me wrong. No.
Anything you watched? I
Um,
mean, sorry, go
Uzumaki,
ahead.
that Dan, we got a new episode of that, and that's still been pretty good. Um, I read this The Secret of Nymph, which is Frisbee and Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats and Them is the book. I love the book. That being one of my favorite like childhood movies growing up, Secret of Nymph. If you have never seen that movie, you need to go
Hmm.
watch that movie. It's so good. Okay, but so I watched that like after I read the book, and at first I thought it was a really close adaptation, and I was pretty surprised that it was kind of like the Salem Lot thing. It was like half the movie was pretty good, and then it was like they just kind of like went on the whole
Did
rails.
their own
Like
thing.
the whole magic thing is not in the book at all, and I was like, what? No, they do it. I'd say the book is so much better. Like it's kind of funny the stuff that they added from the book to the movie because for a long time it's straight on the book, and then it's like they get to the rats part, and the movie goes in a whole like mythical magical way, which was great seeing it as a kid. It went into the more sinister, the more but I loved it so much. I wouldn't There's two more books that follow it. I already bought, and I'm waiting for the second book to arrive here. It's so good. um what do you call it? I'm trying to think what else. Oh, I went to the theaters. So I was supposed to go see Venom 3. But I took a nap. My brother went and saw it without me. little bastard. But I don't blame him. You know, I was taking it out. But I did. So I went to the theater and I saw Smile 2. I ended up getting this cool poster, which
That's sick.
I thought it was kind of funny, you know, because Joker 2 is still in
Oh,
the theater.
it's two different cities upside down.
Yeah.
Does that play into it?
Yes, it does. And I will
Ooh, okay.
say, for me, it was like I really enjoyed the first movie. I thought, you know, it was one of the horror movies that I really hyped up. This movie, like maybe a 5 out of 10. You know, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't the worst thing I've seen, but it wasn't definitely not the best. And it's kind of sad because it's got Jack Nicholson's son in it. I think he did a really good job. You talk about the smile, like his smile was crazy in this movie, like a Jack Nicholson smile. Um,
Oh,
yeah, but as far as like a sequel to a really good movie, this one kind of like, and I didn't see it alone. Like I saw it with like my roommate, and we're both horror fans, and we both liked the first one. He did not like this.
didn't like that. What's
I'm
up,
trying to
L
think.
Ray? How you doing, L to the Ray?
Yeah, right.
Pop said by that comparison, Lord of the Rings should have been 9 movies, right?
Serious. Like, I don't think fans would have been disappointed with that either. I love Secret. It's definitely one of my favorite movies.
Hey, Maiden,
What's up,
how you
Maiden?
doing, bud? Great
How you
show
doing?
earlier. I'm going to be on Maiden's show on the 25th of November. I'm not going to have a live that night. I'm going to be on his show. He goes live 8 o'clock, an hour before I usually do. And just going to take it easy and spend the night over there on his channel. Great channel. Him and Tim do awesome live.
Awesome.
I'll definitely advertise that more as it comes up. Been waiting to get on there.
Yeah, chat's over here speaking my language. They're over here talking about Richard Bachman and Stephen King.
Mm-hmm.
And Catman, he has only used one other pen name, that is Richard Bachman, not multiple, just one, just one. I love Christine. I do
Mm-hmm.
like the car. I like the book, and the movie is okay. Yeah, but
There's
just one.
Maid's channel. Thanks so much, Tina.
Yeah, but I think that's
Penguin,
everything.
you caught up on
Yeah,
Penguin?
what I watched. Yeah, Penguin's been phenomenal all the way through. Adventures of the Superman and Lois. That's been really good.
I
I
have
keep
not
forgetting.
watched that yet.
Trying to think. I did finish that Gundam Requiem for Violence or whatever it's called. That was really good. It was just the 6 episodes though. Especially if you are not well versed in the Gundam world, the 6 episode semi live action show is actually pretty good because they don't really go into the lore at all. It's just, you know, like two mechs fighting each other pretty much. It's pretty good.
What's that on?
Netflix.
Oh, okay. Huh,
It's
I'll
on.
check that out.
It's a 6 episode TV series. I want to say like, well, you know, it is set in like anime style where it's like 25-minute episodes, something like that. But like it's pretty much just the Earth colony fighting off like the space colony, but they don't really go into like why, or it's just two warring factions. And once the Gundam shows up, it's pretty much like a horror thing where it's like these people in regular mech suits are like, "What the hell is the Gundam?" And they're just running from them, trying to fight them. But this thing
Oh,
is like so
interesting.
more. They kind of did it in like Godzilla 1 fashion,
Like
where
a,
the guy
okay.
instead of the Gundam being the hero of the piece, it's more about like it's the opposite where Char's, you know, because in Gundam it's usually two factions that are fighting Gundam versus somebody. And
Uh-huh.
usually they're in the same type of like Earth Federation suits. They look like they just like generic robots with one eye or whatever. Like that's who, and pretty much it's the you're following a crew of them as they encounter a Gundam for the first time. The universe has seen one, so they're like, "What the f is this?" Like, and it's so much more powerful than them. Like the first time they see an energy sword, and it's so dope. The first time he pulls it out, and like when they see the energy sword, they're like, "How is this technology even possible?" They're all freaking out. Like, I mean, these robots are just being sliced samurai style and shit. It's so dumb. But I will warn you, it is semi live action. It's predominantly CG. It was filmed like retroscope, where they did use live action actors, and they went back and CGI touched it. So if that bothers you, like this might not be the watch, but I love it.
Chop with is Bachman. He first introduced Roland in the Tower series.
No. Actually, the Bachman books are pretty much not anything tied with. There's loose ties, you could say, but the explanation on the Richard Bachman books was an experiment. Stephen King, he thought it was a fluke that his books had gotten famous, so he wanted to secretly write books under another name to see if they were just as loved. The part of the experiment, the fun part, was his books that he chose to write under the Richard Bachman name were all his more violent books. So all his books, and like it's like 6 books or something like that, he wrote under Richard Bachman, but they're all like extreme, like more violent, extreme, more sexual. It's the stuff that kind of he didn't want to put under Stephen King stuff. I've read like 3 or 4 of them, and they're all really good, but they are like The Long Walk is one of my favorite tales from Stephen King, but he wrote it under Richard Bachman. But I mean, it's just a like Hunger Games style like competition where people are forced to walk until they can't anymore, and whoever walks the farthest, wins. But there's a caveat, like you can't stop. You stop, you're shot, kind of thing. Like,
Wow.
but it, but it is. But I will say, like, it was an experiment, and it ended because somebody, found out about, that he was. It was actually somebody that he trusted with the source, and they actually turned around and like went and revealed it to the press and backstabbed him, kind of stuff. And that dude, I mean, he got sued for a ton of money.
Yeah, so Penguin's been really good. Vox Machina, that wrapped up with the 12th episode. They did it in 3-episode stints. So season 3, they actually did it to where they tied off the whole first 3 seasons was a whole entire arc, and they tied that off. But they left it open, and then right after it dropped, they introduced on Instagram, all of them got together and they introduced that they're doing a season 4. So going to go on to for bigger and better things. I just love that series. The animation, the dialogue, it just reminds me of it's the perfect Dungeons and Dragons anime. I'll just say that.
I went and, speaking of Vox Machina, I went and I like reading with soundtracks, get me in the mood and stuff. And I'm reading Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. And usually I pull up a movie soundtrack. I did pull up the newer, but it's hard to read when it's a lot of action, like sounding sequence where it's just like the whole soundtrack, and that's pretty much that new D&D movie was pretty much an action. So I went to Vox Machina and I was like, let me check out this. I know this is heavy D&D, kind of thing. I enjoyed the soundtrack, but it is a lot more of the action thing. I actually settled on Skyrim. I'm actually reading this D&D stuff. Skyrim is like the perfect soundtrack because it's more like
For background music.
like yeah, it's more like music that feels like you're exploring versus like an action sequence kind of thing. And it's such a great soundtrack for this kind of fantasy stuff. Stephen King, my favorite, not just writer, but he's like, I don't follow too many famous people, and I don't, even with Stephen King, I say at a distance, but I will take it personal if some misinformation comes up. Night Pops, thanks.
Pop. Appreciate you stopping by, bud. Check out Pop's Attic on Instagram. Always has some great comic sales. Always selling books that Mark's Legion of Comics is getting rid of. And I started the first episode of Yellow Jackets. It was definitely not what I was expecting. I don't know like what exactly it's about yet, but got like a horror mystery vibe to it. I thought it was just a girls soccer series.
It's a murder. It's really a murder mystery. Yes.
Right. So
it's like a whodunit.
Interested me.
I'm watching you, Kevin. I see that.
I was going to say if Brian showed up, Brian hit 2K. Brian LCS on, I believe, Friday. So congrats to him. The birthdays, Fanboy. I don't know if Fanboy's still here. Eddie from the Batcave was yesterday. Steve White is today. And Fanboy Prime's birthday is tomorrow. So everybody,
happy birthday to all these fine people.
Wish all of them happy birthdays. Some 3 great people in the community. Then we have what I read this week. First off, we got Rook. Number 6, finally the showdown with Ursa. Dire Wolf was captured, and Rook finally ended up becoming one with his crows. It was pretty awesome that he has that mental link even without his helmet now.
Yeah, I thought it was
really
great.
Awesome.
I thought it was a great end to that first arc, like, and to get you excited for that second one. You know, there is like a small gap, but it shouldn't be too far. Yeah, I thought it was an excellent.
It shows you a bunch of more of the wardens we haven't seen yet, like an elk. Looks like a
jackalope, like a
So that's pretty cool.
Tiger.
Of course, just love these. At the end of each one, they got a character profile. This one is Ursa, the main bad guy. Tells all about him. Can't wait for this. Is my box right now. God, I can't wait for that. Devour.
Yeah, it's dropping this week.
Next one I read was Frankenstein. Number 3. This is about the heart. And have you read this one yet?
Not yet. I'm behind on that one. I read number 2, but not number 3.
How they're intertwining, because each issue is about a different piece of Frankenstein, and this one's about his heart, and it's just how they intertwine. The kid from the first issue is still there. What was that?
Ignore it.
It's been source of 3.
It's because what because.
But like the kid is still there. They're like building relationships with all the characters from every issue. And of course, at the end, it ends with the classic scene, her fainting in his arms, him grabbing her.
I've heard talk about like people didn't like the art. I'm loving both, like the art and the story. I think it matches the story, and it matches from. And I went back like when this first started, and I watched that old Universal monster movie, Frankenstein. It fits in so well. Like
a minute behind, Wellbore.
Catch up, bro.
Frankenstein celebration.
When it's so many people.
That's funny.
He does it like we do. He's got to celebrate each individual. He's got an October birthday. He's got a February birthday.
We got Tina. Be sending that to her. And I'll probably wait for another issues coming out real soon. Might wait for that one to send both of them. And lastly, Absolute Wonder Woman. I loved this. Have you read it?
I did.
You didn't. I don't think you liked it, did you? Were you the one that?
I want to say I want to say it was like a half for me. There's just so many questions that the first book didn't start up, and I'm not gonna hate on the first issue, but for me, like, I don't know, like that's the version. This is supposed to be Darkseid, and this is his hell. It was kind of like a really nice. It's probably like the nicest version of hell I've ever seen in my life. Like, there was books and like nice little couches and bookshelves, and like I was like, what the F is going on here? What version of hell is that? I don't know.
Well, because she's an Amazon, I took that as because she's an Amazon. She was befriending all the creatures whenever they were trying to kill her as she was growing up. So she basically steadied like the hate. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't hell because she was there, because she was the last Amazon, and they were trying to keep her there without letting her know she was an Amazon. So her presence almost made it. I don't think
it's hell at all. Like it was just like a prison island instead of Themyscira. Like I'm gonna say
they
like,
basically made hell into Themyscira. Is basically
yeah. I'm gonna say like it wasn't terrible. Like I'm not in that. For me it was an okay read. The same as the Absolute Batman. I'm not gonna say it wowed me or anything. Like I didn't read this digitally and run out to go pick it up physical. It was that good. Let's just say that. It's definitely not my Wonder Woman.
It's a completely different revamp. If you want something completely different, it's nice because you don't usually get that. Usually, if there's
I did like Pegasus
other world, it's still tethered in the same mythos. You don't get this complete different. I mean, it's almost like what was that? Dark Knights of Steel. How it was completely different. I love that.
Yeah. No, I'm interested. I mean, it's not like we got. I mean, besides, and I don't even know if that was like her mom technically. I mean, in this story, it was most definitely not. It's an orphan kid that's given to her by, I forget, was it Hermes or I forget who showed up.
Apollo or Hermes. Yeah.
Apollo, yeah, Apollo, which is it's kind of weird. He's not even a Greek god; that's a Roman.
Or maybe it wasn't
I,
Apollo. I forget.
no, I think it was. I think it was Apollo. No, but I mean, it was okay. It wasn't a terrible read. Like I didn't find myself wanting to stop. I mean that's how I determine like a bad read. Like as I'm reading this, like can I continue with it? No, I read through it the whole way. Okay, a read that I did read where I got this feeling as I was reading it was a book that dropped this league, and it was the Green Lantern Dark book. And I know a lot of people like hype this up. I did not like it. Like I had to force myself to read through that book. Well, Absolute Wonder Woman. No, I made it through with ease. I will say I got questions for it, but that's what a good book should do, kind of thing. I can
Right.
say most of the questions I got are like kind of on the bad side, but like they can be answered easily. But like, nah, Green Lantern Dark. That was just like, and it's the same artist that did Something Is Killing the Children. I like the art and something in
Well,
this book.
that's kind of tethered to that universe almost. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
this they had the same look and feel or something, and then they were trying to nah, and I saw people like loving this book, and I was like, ugh, if you talk about like the story for me was not good, like the whole setup of this character is like, oh god.
thanks, Maiden. Appreciate you. We got Chop with
Thank you.
going with the Halloween horror topic. What y'all's pick? Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Chucky, or Friday the 13th? For me, it's Friday the
I like
13th.
all, yeah, I like all of them, but for me, it's Nightmare on Elm Street. I like the more
I mean,
fantastical.
Nightmare on Elm Street, not Friday. Excuse me, Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy is my all-time
Freddy,
favorite villain.
I like Freddy.
Friday the 13th. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, specifically growing up, none of those other movies scared me except for Nightmare on Elm Street. Like
yeah,
in,
because
in
the others are slashers. That's a psychological thriller.
yeah, and slashers, I mean, to me, it's like I can get the feeling of a slasher being scary, but the way I live my life, I'm not really scared of someone coming behind me or following me or, so I'm not even somebody mythical. Like, I enjoy them, and I like the icons they are, but I, I want to say if I had to pick a favorite slasher, it'd probably be Scream. Like I kind of enjoy Scream a lot more because it has the whole nod to other slashers before it kind
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah, that's like the updated one. You know how like the other ones they have
Well, they had
sequels
20 years.
as
Yeah,
as they're going, but it's
they had
like
like
that
20,
one. It
they had
started
like
out
20
and
years.
it was people that were kind of our age that were in it.
Hmm.
So it was
Me,
almost like our slasher, whereas the other one started with our parents or our brothers and sisters generation.
I actually have a really scary story tied to the original Scream because I went and saw it day one, and I suffer from like nerve damage in my ears, and frequently through my life, I've actually gone deaf where I can't hear. When I went through Scream, it was the first major time it happened to me. Like the movie started, and for me, there was no sound. I thought the movie was effed up. I had actually lost my. Oops, sorry.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. I love loud cars. But I actually lost my hearing during the first viewing of Scream, and it went out like about a month, I'd say, before I got it back. It scared the crap out of me.
That's
Um,
so good.
it's, yeah, I still love the movie. Exorcist, I do love that movie, but I'm not so big into the spirits like that. That doesn't really hold the scary, like the demons and all that. I I love the concept of hell and demons and that kind of stuff, but as far as it scaring me, like the way it does some people, it doesn't. I remember my mom telling me that The Exorcist was the scariest movie my mom saw, and this was when I was like 8, and I was getting into horror, and I wanted to, I was going around getting everybody's like top horror picks, and that was my mom, and I took my
Mhm.
mom's like advice to heart kind of thing. So I went and watched The Exorcist, and for me, it was more a bunch of laughable scenes kind of thing, like seeing her head turn around
Yeah.
as a kid. It didn't have the scariness that I guess. And to be fair, I did not come from like a heavy religion, like family kind of thing. So I think if I would have had that in my family, then it would have played a bigger part. And I do enjoy The Exorcist. For me, there is one Exorcist. It's called Exorcist Dominion. It's like the fourth one that they did two movies. It was like they did the same story, but different directors got to play with the idea. One of those movies was scary to me, and it was really just a jump scene that they were able to pull off. And it's just this one scene where a monkey hops on this well, and a hyena jumps out of nowhere and eats the monkey out of nowhere. And it's just like I mean. But besides that, no. And to a degree, I love horror. Like I go out of my way to watch horror. I don't watch a lot of the Last Relic, The Exorcist, Dominion, anything. Usually, I'm not a big fan of those because they just don't have. I'm looking for the scare, and usually those religious they don't have the scare for me.
What's up, Carmen?
Hey, Carmen. I do love Jeepers Creepers though.
The first one was good.
I like all three. I like all three of them. I'd say for me, if anything, after we got part 2 and 3, Jeepers Creepers 1 was less because I like the whole action part of it. Like once they, spread his wings and he was flying around hunting people, that's what.
Jeepers Creepers.
Jeepers Creepers.
You got anything else to show?
I do have a couple things I picked up.
I'm going to show this again. Got from C3 from Steve White, G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Show these off one more time. And probably do a video when they all come in. And then this John Boy Myers foil exclusive.
Yeah, that's cool.
Really dope to get that.
Yeah, man, of inches.
What you got?
Did it too? I picked up a couple books. We were just talking about my dude. Stephen King. I picked up Pet Sematary. I've never read Pet Sematary. I've seen the movies and stuff like that, but I know this is Norman Rad, a bunch of people's favorites. So I mean, it was at the thrift store. I was like, "Hey, I'll pick it up." An author that is like a hot take right now. I don't really follow the people. I kind of just stick with what they create. So this person does not have that either hatred or like. I still like her because I like her writing, but I didn't know that she had done a Christmas story, and I am a huge Harry Potter fan. I do have her only adult novel, which is called Vacancy, or I think it's called Vacancy, because she's only Harry Potter is all young adult. This is another young adult that she wrote like in 2020, I think. I had not heard about it or anything. I want to imagine it's because the kind of black stain that she's got on her, but I'm interested in a Christmas tale,
Interesting.
I don't know, but that's my pickup, so I was like, I'll pick that.
Cool.
Is there 4?
Yeah, we'll show off some covers coming out this week. Of course, we got Devour from Hyde Street. Loved Hyde Street, the horror comic coming out from Ghost Machine. Awesome art. I think it's is it Ivan Rice maybe on that cover?
I think so, because I think that's the only property we haven't seen, because we got Francis Manipold's doing the rock. I think, I want to say this Ivan Rice.
All right, we got Red Coat number 7, probably the last one I'm going to pick up of the Red Coat. I'm going down to 4 books a month. I'm cutting big time. I'm going to get cover buys. Jenny Frizz and Jim Lee, Dan Moore cover buys. But I'm getting down to TMNT Naruto, G.I. Joe, Rook Exodus, and World's Finest are the 4 books I'm going to be collecting from here on out. Cutting really far back and going to concentrate on filling other runs, get some back issues.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Books are getting expensive, especially individually. You're picking them week to week to week.
If you're really in on the Frankenstein, they're re-coming out with 2nd and 3rd printings. There's issue number 1. So, in my opinion, I read the Dracula and the Creature from the Black Lagoon and didn't particularly like either one of them. But I love it. I'm loving it.
I like this one. Yeah, this is what I wish the other two would have been like. I don't know why the other ones. Yeah, I'm not gonna speak ill.
We got Multiverses Collision Detected. This might be the last one. Might be just be a 4 issue. But Dan Mora, awesome crossover. Got Shaggy with the Superman shirt. We got Poison Ivy Swamp Thing. They've never done a book with these two before now, have they?
I want to say they've been intertwined as far as stories, but I think this would be the first, like, where they're both in the title kind of thing.
Which is crazy because of how they're both intertwined in the green. So it looks awesome. This awesome Clayton Crane cover too. And a couple more. This is the talk of the week as far as covers go. Adam Hughes, The Amazing Spider-Man, got a Jackpot and Black Cat on there.
All right. It's a nice cover.
A lot of people are talking about this one. It might be a hot book.
I like the cube.
And lastly, I believe this is the end of Predator Black Panther.
Yeah, I think so.
Really good. Hearing really good thing. I read the first issue. I thought it was a pretty good tie-in, how they tied them together. Haven't read all the other issues, but people, they're saying it's pretty good.
It's been good. I wouldn't say it's the Wolverine versus Predator. I think that one just holds, like, it's a more fitting story kind of thing, but this one's not just as good kind of thing. The Predator's trying to get, vibranium and stuff, which is an interesting device within the Predator. Like, could you imagine once they had, like, vibranium armor coming after people, they'd be like unstoppable, guy.
Yeah, right.
That's pretty.
We watched 1 and 2. Hey man, prices of stuff has gone through the roof.
Yeah. When they start going up to like $5.99 and $10 books, like, oh god, especially for facsimiles. That's the facsimile prices. Like, at first they were reasonable, $2.99 for a reprint, or and then they start adding the foil and you're paying $10. Like,
and let's see, I have. Okay, these are only mediums, but we had some extra ones that we ordered for giveaways at work. But I have a medium. These are tops. This is a t-shirt, and I have a medium hoodie. And these are these are like $60 hoodies. But if you wear a medium or you know somebody that would want these size men's medium, in the comments after, I'm going to do this for probably in 4 weeks. In the comments after, just put #shirts, and I'll also post it on Instagram. Just get, like I said, they're mediums. If you want them, just put the #shirt after the video. I'll let it run for about 4 weeks. Get that to somebody. I'm an extra medium.
I'm a medium, but I don't like sports, so I do like the emblems. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, they're so well made too.
I'll say that nostalgic factor. I like the to put the date on. That's cool.
Is the brand? Yeah, these are pack designs. Like, this is a 19. The other one was 94. I think this is a 95 pack. This is what the baseball packs look like.
Yeah, if you bought them at the store. I remember both of them actually.
But it's a real nice hoodie. Like I said, I got one for myself, and we had some extra ones. I said, can I take these just to try to give them away?
Yeah, I was trying to highlight that one too.
I'm sorry.
we were all mediums at one point, kind of thing. We feel it. And so I got the curse. I can't gain weight.
Right. Then on Wednesday, going to have my Halloween stream. So check that out. Like I said, if you want to pop on, if you want to dress up and pop on, if you want to bring some comics on to do there's enough people or people willing to do a cover battle, we can do a horror themed cover battle. Just to have like a fun Halloween stream as much as we can. And back here next week, Mike, you have Saturday night.
Saturday night Dark Tower stuff. Walk Along the Beam next episode, and then next Saturday after that D&D. You know, a whole different franchise. You know, yeah. And I just thought that Carmen, I was into sports in my up until my 20s, and I just kind of exited out of my life, and now I don't do sports. I started noticing stuff too. You know, as I got older. Hey,
Yeah,
Robin.
what's up, Robin? Yeah, there's ever since gambling entered sports, there's always been that hanging
Dad,
over everything. You're like, what? Why
I
they
kind
why
of,
they call that? Or
I kind of bring that up to my brother when I will watch a sports episode with him. I will say there's some kind of shady stuff. You know, but even just watching an individual watch sports is an interesting, take on, because my brother will sit there and talk to the TV screen, and I'm like, in our society, when you talk to yourself, that what that represents, and I understand you're talking to the TV, but you do understand that the TV can't talk back to you. It's
you
not
do that when
respect.
you're watching the movie, though. Anyway, like, what are you
Yeah, I will say that
doing? Don't
I,
go down
I
that alley.
I, I I don't do that, but I will say that is a common thing, especially in horror movies. And I have seen firsthand. People will scream out stuff in the theaters, and I usually enjoy that. Like I'll snicker at those people, like, yeah. Um, but you do notice stuff when you just sit back and watch people, enjoy what they enjoy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I like
That's
that.
pretty much it. Thanks everybody for
Yeah.
joining us. Hope to see you
Thank
out
you.
Wednesday. Love y'all, and as always, Matt Woods.
That was.